the Xenns Tea Pro SE. Let's talk about it. This is a 2-dynamic driver 6BA IEM that was sent over to me as a sample from Linsoul Direct. This is a $450 IEM and is kind of a refresh of an IEM that came out last year and was pretty hyped. There's also its bigger brother that is cost just a little bit more at $50 more. So there's a lot of competition in this market, even from Xenns Tea Pro Xenns itself. Let's start by looking at the build quality of this IEM. On the right, we have the Xenns Tea Pro SE. In the middle, we have the Afu Magic 1. And on the left, we have the Kiwi Ears Orchestra 2. Someone made a request about that I show the sides of these, so I wanted to show you what these kind of look like. What you'll notice is that the SE is a little bit smaller. It's kind of a medium-sized IEM. It has a nice lip on it, meaning that it has a good sense of airflow through it. And for me, that kind of oftentimes means that it's comfortable. Not to say that these other IEMs are not uncomfortable, but it is very comfortable for me. I like the faceplate of the SE. I think it's beautiful. Kind of has this kind of like autumn sort of wintry vibe to it. This is coming out on Christmas Day 2025, which is kind of exciting. It has a vent. It's a flat 2-pin cable connector. It has a metal nozzle. It has simple writing on it. It feels and looks durable in hand. I like this shell. I did fix my label here. I did add the SE to the end of it, just so you know. Changing out the plug on this is fairly easy. It has a screw. There's also little connectors. So if you pull this apart, you'll notice that you can line this up with like the little dot and the arrow, and it sinks in pretty easily. And then you just have to twist this on. This is nice because it doesn't come loose. This is a nice cable. I wouldn't say, I mean, it's not super thick, but it's nice and it's a good cable. This is the cable itself. I mean, you look at it, again, it's not super plush. It's nice. It's appropriate. It's not heavy. It doesn't tangle. This is the Y split. It's fine. Its chin slider stays in place. Here we have stereo indication of left and right with an L and an R, and you also have red for right and white for left. It includes a bag. It includes little baggies for the sets of tips, which is a little disappointing, but it does have a clip shirt and a cleaning brush, which is nice, so it's appropriate. The case is nice. It's nice and green. It's pretty. I kind of like how it fits a theme. It kind of matches the cable. It's nice. It's a good-looking case. It comes with a little clip, and so it's an all-around nice unboxing experience. It feels and looks premium, and so it's a solid experience overall. So how does this IEM sound? To my ear, it feels a little bit treble forward. It feels a little bit exciting. It's a nice overall tonality with a fantastic build quality. It's a lovely, beautiful IEM that I feel is durable, that's packaged well, the cable's easy to swap out, and it has a lot of positive things. The $450 market is kind of a slammed market. But the fact that they're doing a metal shell around this price, a lot of other IEMs do not have that. I think what IEMs do, and the fact of the combination of both a metal shell and a 2-pin cable connector, not everything has that, and so that's a nice addition in the market if that's something you're looking for. But as far as sound goes, it has a sufficient amount of bass. It's a little bit less bassy than the Tea Pro original. It's a nice, rich tonality with a little bit of sparkly details and treble that may be too much for some people. It does get to be sibilant on some tracks, but when this IEM hits, and what makes this IEM fantastic to me is this IEM really has an amazing soundstage effect where it feels like the music is right around my head. I feel the bass is very appropriate, very strong, and fun at the same time, with never muddying up the vocals in any standpoint. It's just a nice overall beautiful tonality that really appeals to me. Let's look at some graphs and do some comparisons, but suffice it to say I'm a huge fan of this IEM and I really enjoy it. All right, the Xenns Tea Pro SE. We're going to do a lot of comparisons today. You'll notice it does have quite a bit of treble, and it might be too much treble for you. To me, it hits the ground in between a lot of other IEMs that have come out as of late, and kind of hits that nice neutral tonality. But I do there's a few changes that I might make to it, but I do find it a very competent set. It doesn't get too sibilant, and it's generally a very natural, wide open tonality that's extremely fun. As we look at other sets, let's look at the Xenns Top Pro. This is a $500 set. It is done by Xenns. It is also a nice set. You'll notice it's a little bit less of this 8K energy, a little bit less kind of the 4 to 5K energy as well. Like the treble is a little bit more subdued, and it is ever so slightly bassier. And so if you're looking for something with a little bit more of a bassy tilt, I think you're going to like this one. I personally find this to be a little bit better than the Top Pro. I do like the Top Pro, and I think it's a fantastic set. It's absolutely beautiful. But and I do feel that the Top Pro is packaged a little bit better if that's something that's important to you. The Tea Pro does have a metal shell, and that can be a very important thing for you. They do have different size shells. I would say that the Top Pro has a little bit smaller of a shell, but it's also very nice. And it's a good set, but you'll just notice this has a little bit ever so slightly airy tonality, whereas the Tea Pro SE has a little bit, a little bit less bass, a little bit less thick mids, whereas the Top Pro doesn't. Are these minor changes? Absolutely. So it might, depending on your sensitivity to certain regions, you might like one or the other, but they're similar, but they're different enough that they're both acceptable in your collection. The next one we want to look at is the Tea Pro, the 2024 edition, and you'll notice that the Tea Pro does have a lot more thick mids. So for bass heads, like if you're really a big fan of the Tea Pro and you like it, you probably don't need to upgrade. You'll notice a lot of similarities here. The Tea Pro has a significant amount of bass, whereas like with the Top Pro has maybe a little bit more bass, but not much. The Tea Pro 2024 edition has way more bass, is a much bassier set, has a little bit less of that upper treble spike that you may or may not like. I personally like it, but I'm old and I might be kind of going deaf, so that's something to note with preferences. And so I do feel that this is the upgrade for me, but not everybody is going to like the new edition more, and they might actually like the older edition depending on your preference, but it feels just a little bit more airy, more natural, and just an overall improvement on tonality from my take. All right, I wanted to do a quick comparison of the Kiwi Ears Orchestra 2 and versus the Xenns Tea Pro SE. And you'll notice a few different things in their tonality. The Orchestra 2 is competent, but sometimes it lacks a little bit of bite in this kind of upper treble sort of, lower treble sort of a region. It has a different tonality where the Tea Pro has a little bit more thick, rich bass that's a little bit to my liking. I do think the Kiwi Ears Orchestra 2 is nice, but it might be it's interesting. It might be a mood thing or a tip issue, or something might happen where at certain times you might prefer one or the other. I do feel that the Tea Pro SE is the upgrade, but the Orchestra 2, again, if you're looking for something that has that dipped region right here, I don't know very many things that have that, and it makes it a unique tonality for the market that not everything has that. And I think in that regards, it's interesting, but I find it a little bit less offensive, whereas the Xenns Tea Pro feels more technical, a little bit more detail focused, and a little bit more in your face. I find the Tea Pro a better IM, but I find it to be one of those things where it's very almost a mood dependent, maybe a track dependent sort of a thing, where if you already have the Orchestra 2 and you like it, I don't know how much more of a improvement the Tea Pro SE will be, other than it has different amounts of details in different regions. Another one somebody requested is the Astral. Now, I like the Astral. I do think it's a fantastic set. Has a little bit more tactful bass, but a lot of their tonalities and what they do is very similar. Like, these are both good graphs. I think the Astral's a fantastic set. And for $250, it's hard to justify on a graph of what you're getting, but a little bit cleaner treble, a little bit better detail, like the finer grain technicalities, but it's very not much, and they have a very similar tonality to each other. Again, the Astral does have a little bit more bass. The Tea Pro SE is, I wouldn't call it bass light by any means, but it doesn't have as much of that mid-bass presence. I am not as much of a mid-bass fan as much as other people are. So depending on what you want, I mean, the Astral is still a really good set. But I do feel that the Mangrove Tea Pro SE is a little bit more exciting, has a little bit more better technicalities, does have a metal build. It's a nicer overall IEM. It's packaged a little bit nicer. But tonality wise, you're looking at a very similar IEM in many regards. As far as I wanted to show you kind of these thicker mids on a few other sets, I wanted to show you the Daybreak and the Hype 4. Someone asked for the Hype 4. We have the new Hype 4 that's supposed to be coming in the channel. We'll talk about that. My problem with the Daybreak was that the Daybreak had decent bass. You'll notice a little bit thicker bass shelf, but way more upper mids. The Daybreak does have a little bit more subdued upper treble, but it does have this shouty tonality that can come across at certain times. I do like personally the Tea Pro SE more, but if someone told me they like the Daybreak more, it's one of those things that's hard to say. I do want to show the Hype 4 against this so we can get an idea, and it's kind of that similar thing that the treble in the Hype 4 is a little bit like there is in the Hype 4, there is like this 13K spike, which can be good or bad. The Hype 4 does kind of come across sibilant and shouty at times, but both are very competent sets. I personally like the Mangrove Tea Pro SE. I feel it's a little bit more refined, but again, it's just a minor thing in my take of just slight refinement, not taking away for another one. Somebody asked me for the High Senior Cano Crystallis, and these are extremely different sets, where the Cano Crystallis is like a full-blown bassy set with a lot of upper mids, whereas the Xenns Mangrove Tea Pro is like a little bit more neutral, a little bit more subdued, a lot more natural sounding, whereas the Cano Crystallis is just a little bit more bold and in your face. Like the Cano Crystallis reminds me a little bit of the Hercules Audio Noah. And I really like the Noah. The Noah has some great things. So let's do a comparison with both of these. And you'll notice like my problem with the Noah is that Noah felt like its treble was a little bit recessed out and just kind of felt flat. I do feel the Noah is a very competent set, a very fun set. With kind of a nice mids presentation that people are going to like. I personally feel that Xenns Mangrove Tea Pro SE is a fantastic set and has a little bit more sparkly and detailed air for my take. Next one I wanted to look at, someone asked me to talk about the Monarch Mark II. The Monarch Mark II is funny because there are two different versions you might get. So I'll show you kind of the two versions you can see. But depending on what version you get, they might be a little bit different. You know, the kind of the more older style version, you'll notice it has a little bit less bass, a little bit more subdued treble. The Monarch Mark II is a very nice set. It does a very good job, but it does lack excitement to me. The SE does have a ton of excitement. Now, one interesting thing I wanted to show you is the Monarch Mark IV, and this is the no rumble set. If you want to look at it, what it looks like versus the Rumble, you'll notice the Rumble does have a little bit more bass. And so for bass heads, I think this isn't going to be a bass head set. I think it's a fine set for people that do like bass and do want something. But what I do feel is the very interesting tonality is if you're a fan of the Monarch without the bass set switched on, this is about as close as you get from a graph standpoint, and it's a very nice wide open tonality that I really like. I don't think it hits the exact details of the Monarch Mark IV, but it's really close. It's kind of like Monarch Mark IV at home, but it's still, you know, for half the price, I still think it's a really good value, and it does have a metal shell, which is a huge appeal of the Monarch MK4. And so I think this comparison is valid, and I think sonically they are going to be closer than a lot of people give credit to. But again, the Monarch Mark IV is a special set, no doubt. All right, another one someone asked for was the Chronicle X Red. Now, I don't know. I'm doing this because some people asked for certain comparisons in a post I made. And the thing about the Chronicle Red, my problem was that the base was a little bit tilting off. And so you'll notice that the Tea Pro SE, their upper mids are very comparable. But the Tea Pro SE does have a little bit more bass, a little bit more upper mids. It gets a little bit more U-shaped and an engaging tonality. Like if you found the Chronicle Red a little bit dull, I think that the Tea Pro SE is going to be a similar tonality, but I think just better and a little bit stronger overall, with nice detailed upper treble and just a great overall tonality. All right, next set, Moondrop Variations. You'll notice way less treble, a little bit less bass. I find the bass of the Mangrid's Tea Pro SE to be better. It also has a little bit more upper detail and air. The Variations is a very nice set. The Variations can be a little bit too much upper midsy. You'll notice the Tea Pro is a little bit more subdued, a little bit more chill. Even that 8K peak is a little bit less. And so it's a little bit more of a U-shaped tonality with more subdued upper mids. I think it's an improvement on the Variations. I didn't really like the Variations, although it felt very mid-present section forward, but I know a lot of people did. So there's your comparison. It's a much better set for around that $450 price to my ears and for me. I do want to show you the new Dunu sets. These are very interesting. I do feel the Dunu 242 is a very good set. Now the Dunu 242 is more of a mids forward focus kind of a set, and it doesn't really, to me, the SC is a better set of more my preference and my tonality, but the 242 is a fine set overall. What is interesting is the Dunu 142. Now the Dunu 142 does have a little bit more mids, but you'll notice that a lot of things are very similar to here, and you'll notice a little bit less 8K versus a little bit less upper mids. The Dunu 142 is a fantastic set. It's I don't think it's as refined or as detailed as the Tea Pro SE, but I do feel it's really close for a lot cheaper. It is a really fantastic set. I do find that like they have a very similar tonality and they work as a well-rounded style set to my ears. They do have different drivers, and you might like one or the other better. I do feel the Tea Pro SE is better, but it is also $200 more. But I feel you get what you pay for it sometimes, but oftentimes past a certain point, and I can tell you from personal experience that you're not really getting a whole lot more when you're paying more. But in this case, I think you do. I do feel that the SC does have superior build quality and superior sound, but it is very close. And the last one I wanted to compare, and this is mainly for the treble responses here of the Horizon and the Harrier. Now the Harrier is a nice set, and what the Harrier does in this upper air region is kind of have a downward slope, trying to kind of go a little bit for more naturality, but oftentimes what it does is just feel too subdued and too dialed back. Whereas the Tea Pro SE just kind of tilts that back up, and to me hits that at a little bit better of a region. Now something like the Horizon, some people are going to like even more because the Horizon does have a little bit dialed 8K, but it also does have a ton of upper energy and a little bit of an upper treble, and it feels a little bit more of a trebly focused set. So like for me, the Ziggurat Horizon has extremely nice upper air and treble, and it's also a really good set, and it's an interesting tone, interesting approach. But it's like the Mangrid Tea Pro SE kind of fits the middle between the Harrier and the horizon, and does so in a beautiful fashion. All right, Tea Pro SE, let's rank it up. I think it's a solid set. It has good bass, maybe even great. It has nice mids. It has nice air and detail. It could be better. It could be a little bit more pristine, but it's an all-around great set that feels technical and fun in ears. It's well made, it's well packaged, and it fits my requirements to also be what I call my 5-star IEM list. These are a set of IEMs that I feel if you just want to take a snapshot into the hobby of what's really good right now. Now, there are other IEMs out there like the Mega 7 and the Rockies, which I feel are a little bit more... If you haven't tried made a tune set or already have one, you might want to try the Mega 7. The Rockies or the Mega 5 EST are also good sets, but they're a little bit less engaging and a little bit less interesting in my personal take. So that is something that I would be considered too. For me, what I personally would gravitate towards, what I personally would want to listen to and would recommend to buy, I would go with it, the Tea Pro SE over these because of the build quality, because of the overall packaging experience, because of the sonic profile is a little bit more to my preference, with just a little bit more upper mids and a little bit more sub bass, which is exactly what I want from my music. The hobby is getting to a point where there's a lot of competent sets out there, and sometimes what you need is more about what you want, what you feel like in the mood for today. Like if you're looking for an all-around set, there are maybe some other sets out there that are maybe all-arounders for cheaper. But if you're looking for an experience, I feel that this gives you that experience. The Tea Pro SE is just a nice overall build quality, a nice overall sound, and it fits my preferences for what I like and for what I enjoy, and it gets a recommendation. This for me, in this contested space of like over 300, under 1,000 of what I would recommend, it would be this IEM. I really like it. I think it's an easy recommendation based on my personal preference. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Go!
Go!
Go on with you!